Hello, my name is Tyrell Bryson. The date is November 5th. It's backwards. No, November 5th, 9/22. The micro skills I'll be focusing on are empathetic confrontation, reflection of meaning, and questions. I did share the statement to share with my client today, and we'll begin. We will not begin. I forgot my notes right here. Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me. That's right. It's nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you.
Thank you. How's your day going?
It's going well. It's going well.
Say more.
Um, I had some meetings, I had class, I had a good guest speaker in one of my classes. It's been like a pretty okay day.
What was good about that guest speaker?
She was just a good speaker. Like she delivered really well. She had a strong message and like a good example of like hardships that one might face out of college and like it was like a motivational story on like well, I guess like the story of her life that she shared and her career and stuff. It was motivational because, like, when she was in situations where like one might give up or feel like they are stuck, she still found a way out. And I get what she really emphasized through that was like her ability to like reach out to people that she's encountered in her life and like ask for those opportunities and like seek those opportunities. So it was a pretty cool story that she shared with us.
I think so too. What part of that resonated most with you? Was it I guess the resilience that she showcased with like her story and how she made it out of college, even though there were some hardships. Or was it more of like a personal thing to you?
I would say that like the part of her journey, like after she got done with her undergrad, she had told us how she couldn't find a job, which she was like a marketing major. She couldn't find a job in marketing that she wanted to do. Everybody kind of just tried to push sales on her. So she ended up working at Menards for a while after college, which I'm sure is like very disheartening because you just worked so hard for a degree and now you feel like what's going on? I'm just working at a department store. So um, I thought that that was like a very good part to add in just because it keeps it realistic. Like we all struggle with or without a degree. So it was just kind of cool to see that, knowing like what I do know about how like my college journey is going and how like what we spoke about last time. Um, like I have to stop college and go to military to try and continue my education. So like my chapter for Valpo specifically might be ending a little early, but that doesn't mean that like there might not be good things ahead for me just because I'm being stopped here.
That's really cool. So she basically you appreciated how realistic she was and how like it really seemed like I don't know if I wasn't in the room, but it seems like she was down to earth. She was realistic. Like she it wasn't just telling you a story that was like one in a million. She told you a story that you actually see um that someone or even yourself can be put into and it was like a realistic story. It wasn't like luck or anything like that. So I'm glad you got the chance to actually speak with someone who resonates with you on a real level and how on a like not a high level like expect you to know or expect you to know things that you should already, but like a real like everyday person. Like I can see someone going through that in real life and look different type of experience. Yeah. You mentioned how that kind of reminded you of how the hardships you're going through with joining the military and how your semester's been going. And I was meaning to ask you about that last time we spoke. You said you had a lot of um, strain on yourself because you were excited to go to the military, you wanted to go. You felt like it was for you, but you also didn't want to leave your friends and family. Does that sound correct? That sounds like an accurate summary of what we talked about last time.
Yeah.
I wanted to know if you thought about that a little bit further. I know last time we probably mentioned some next steps you wanted to take, but I don't want to get into the next steps unless we both have a clear understanding of how we feel about the situation, especially now after some time has passed.
I feel like all I really need to do is kind of just continue living how I do. I don't think that there needs to be like any extra work or like effort put into like a certain thing in particular. Like how I felt about like leaving my family and everything like that. I just feel like I need to, take the experiences I have with them from now up until like when I ship, just for like what they are. Like I'm not gonna overdo it and like, oh, like act like, it's the end because it's not. Like it's just goodbye for a little bit, not forever. So um I don't really think that I wanna go like stress myself too much about like making moments meaningful or like just overdo anything like that because I think that they already are. So maybe like it'll just be something within myself to kind of be in that moment, but really be present and like then later I can reflect on it and be grateful for the time that I had. Or so yeah, for like that and just like when the time for me to leave is here, then I could like say my proper goodbyes and stuff like that.
So it sounds like you don't want things to be a spectacle. You just kind of want it to be like a mutual understanding of like, it's not forever. Um, yes, time is, fleeting, but this isn't the end. This isn't the last time that you see your loved ones, and it seems like you have a good grasp of that. And like, I mean, when you said that, it made me think of like when you said that, it made me think of how you reacted when you first spoke about it. How it seemed like you never really thought about how much it might have been affecting you, or thought about how much it might have been weighing on you that you might have to leave your family, or you will eventually have to leave your family and your loved ones. Is that right?
Mhm.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, you can tell me no. You can tell me no. The whole point is to understand you. But when you said that, when you said that you're just trying to take it as like an appreciation of what time is left, um, uh, that was different from the like kind of teary eyed and kind of emotional you got the first time we talked about it. So I'm wondering like what specific thoughts or what feelings have you had, and what I guess um yeah, just thoughts or feelings have you had since then to now that makes their different reaction? Like, what do you make of that difference in reaction? What does that say about you? What does that say about your situation?
Um, I don't want to say it like this because it's kind of crazy, but I just feel like there's a little bit more of like a disconnect now from like the idea of leaving and like the whole emotional aspect of it just because like I don't want to be emotional when the time to leave comes. I kind of want to be like already in acceptance of the situation because like the last thing I need to do is like go in and be overly emotional about things that I can't, or the life that I can't live for the time being. So, I don't know. I guess like after our first talk, I kind of just thought about it some more, and kind of decided how I want to continue going about it. Not making it like a super huge thing, but keeping it a little bit more internalized and stuff, and just like at least in my own like trying to appreciate like everything that I have left, pretty much.
Think I understand. So you feel like since the last time we spoke, um, you've had to distance yourself from your emotions because you don't want your emotions to be like the main feature, I guess, and when that time of your life does come around. You don't want it to be a super emotional filled time with everybody upset, everybody fearful of like when you come back. You just want things to be normal. You want things to, it's just what I'm doing now. This is the next part of my life. This is my next chapter. There's no need to be emotional because time is here. And you just want things to be, I guess, like not bad for anybody, not hurtful for anybody, not like lonely for anybody. I get that. That shows a great deal of consideration for yourself, being able to recognize like, hey, I don't want to be an emotional person when it's time to fulfill my duties, but also for your family. Like I want them to feel like, you know, I'm super hurt, I'm super sad, I'm super this or that, and they can't, focus on what they're doing. So that shows great like consideration for you and the people around you. It's a great skill to have as a person, just living life. Um, when you mentioned when you said the word disconnect, I thought of I thought of asking you why you kind of felt like, I guess, do you feel like you had to disconnect from your emotions, or was it just the preferred way you wanted to spend the rest of your time?
Yeah, I guess it was more like the preferred way. Like I thought about it, and I thought that that just might be the best way to go instead of like continuing being like sulking about it, and just like being in like a bad mood, because like at the end of the day, I am excited to go. Like I know what opportunities lie ahead, and I'm I feel like there's nothing bad about it, and I don't want to make leaving be the bad part because I'm gonna be gone. So yeah, I just think that after thinking about it like that, I just thought like it might be better to approach it at a different way.
Um, yeah, I definitely get you. It sounds like the reason you think it's better to not be overly emotional and not really make your emotions about how you feel a big deal is because they just don't see like the point in it. Or, like you see more harm, and you see more harm in being emotional and showing that you are worried or anxious or having feelings of loneliness. You think it does more harm than good because like you said, we'll be back. You know, that shouldn't be the thing that like kills the experience. Everything else is good except the fact that you have to leave. So you might as well make that not as bad as it could be. So yeah, I believe I what you mean. Great. So do you still feel like your like daily life or daily mindset or just like the thoughts you have, um, I guess when going about your day are still kind of like do you have that thought in the back of your mind like you leave?
Honestly, yeah, I feel like as the semester like gets closer to the end, I'm definitely like thinking more about like what my life is gonna be like, in a couple months. Um, I think it's like hitting me a little more now because the work that we're starting to do in class is more focused on like our career and stuff like that, and like what it has to do with our major. And so just like knowing that I'm not going to be here anymore, I kind of feel like an imposter. Like I know obviously like I need to finish strong because my credits matter for the military. um but it's kind of hard to do those assignments or projects about my career knowing that it's about to just take a super sharp turn in another direction. So yeah, I would say like that's like a little bit challenging. um but it even then, like it's not affecting like you know me wanting to continue on with the decision or anything like that. It's just like something that I've been like experiencing more often as like the semester continues pretty much.
Is it specifically when you're doing these assignments that like have you think about your future in the business world that you feel like an imposter, or are there other, I guess, moments or are there other situations that you feeling like you don't belong?
I would say it's mostly like these assignments or like conversations or papers or something that have to do with like our major and like the industry. Just because again, I feel like I'm disconnected from that now, like I'm losing it, basically. Um, like I know my goal for going to the military is to finish my education, but I am going in like totally aware that like I don't know what's gonna happen other than I will be assigned for this amount of years and everything like that. So I'm open to the change though. I think one thing that kind of stuck with me from the first year of college was from a book I read in my career readiness class that like there is no plan. Like things are just gonna happen, and like if you have like such a set plan and things don't go your way, it might not be so good. So I think that thinking about it like that, and just seeing how things go, like for instance like coming into this semester knowing that I wouldn't be able to pay for it, and then coming out knowing that I do have a way to succeed somehow, I don't feel like I failed, basically. So I would say like as long as I continue trying to learn and like build skills and experiences and stuff, like I'll be okay. But I just knew that I wasn't gonna go back home and just be like a nobody.
Right.
I have to do something to get somewhere. And if I can't continue here and I don't want to continue at a community college, then I thought that, military would be the next best thing for me. So, even though things haven't gone to the plan, it's not exactly scripted in the way that, everybody talks about, go to get good grades, go to college, and you get a good job, and blah, blah, blah. Even though it's not going that way, like, I'm still feeling okay about it. I'm not discouraged. I'm encouraged. There's a whole bunch that I don't know that I can. So,
Sounds like you've been facing a lot of adversity lately, like you mentioned with coming into your third semester of college and not really knowing how you're going to pay for it, but then still fighting through that adversity. And now you have a plan, or at least a plan B, or you pivoted from your original plan, and now you're ensuring yourself, ensuring your ability to succeed, or at least understand that this is a new opportunity, which is uplifting, encouraging. And then you mentioned how we just spoke about how you were facing some adversity, but emotionally with feeling lonely, being anxious about leaving your family and your loved ones. But now you've been able to fight through that adversity, and while it may still linger, it's more of something you understand. It's like it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be emotional. It doesn't have to be something that tears you down and distracts you and keeps you on walk in one place. I just wanted to ask, like, what about um, I guess what aspects of you, or what aspects of your community, or what aspects of your family serve as support to you? Like, who do you go to support for support? And like, you know, how do you allow yourself to um stay grounded in these times of adversity?
mm, um, as much as I'd like to think that like it's all on me, I I can recognize that like there are people in my life that are support and they help. Not in like doing everything for me, except like maybe my dad when it comes to like buying stuff. Not everything, but like, like I could trust my dad with like helping me buy a car this summer and like I've kind of spent some of the money I was supposed to save and so like he had a whole backup for me that I didn't even know about and so like in that sense like I know that like my dad is reliable and like he can get me out of a struggle if I'm in one because like I don't know how he's just super um he's a super hard worker and he's like very determined. Like he will not fail. He will not give up. So um I'm happy to have somebody like that in my team. And then my boyfriend, he's like my home base. Like that's like my comfort, my like reassurance and everything that um like no matter what happens, everything's gonna be all right, pretty much. So that's like my resting place, I would say. And then for the rest of my family, I think it's more like a support from the distance. Honestly, I feel like I give them more than they give me, which is okay. I'm so fine with that. I don't I don't want to take from them. I feel like they need and I like to help them. So, I would just say like just love and prayer and good times. Is kind of what I get from them. Like my mom, my siblings, my stepdad, the pets, just kind of more like of a love and care and like support and I guess so since there's numbers there, it's good to have like that type of support in numbers. But like, you know, I have like the stability from my dad, the comfort from my boyfriend, and then like the love and general support and like encouragement from like everybody in that circle. So yeah.
Sounds like a solid foundation for a nice circle that is here to support you and here to um be there for you from your times of adversity. Thank you for sharing that with me. You mentioned that you said, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said if you get from your family love, prayer, and laughter, or for
It's good times.
love, prayer, and good times.
Hmm.
I wanted to focus a little bit on the prayer part. How deep is your faith in you in your life? How connected do you feel like you are with your spiritual person? What does God mean to you?
Um, well. I grew up in the church, non-denominational Christian. Like my great grandma and her husband, they had a church for a very long time. Um, and so like I've always been like aware of the Christian faith, kind of. I mean, in it, like I believe that Jesus died at the cross for our sins, and I'm aware that God is with me through it all, and like I see it in like the blessings that I receive. Even just like waking up in the morning is a blessing, even if I don't thank him for that, or if I don't think about it, then I kind of try to. I would say that when I do remember, when I notice little things, I give the glory to God. Like I know that he's here, I know that he's real. um I can't sit here and say that like I feel the closest to him. And it has nothing to do with him, obviously. Like I know God is like right outside the door. It just has to be like I have to meet him at the door. And um I I let things get in the way of that. I have to admit that. I let things get in the way. I let like other responsibilities, distractions, and other things like that get in the way of like my prayer and my reading of the word. I don't think that that means I'm not faithful, but maybe I'm just not consistent with it. And so I sometimes, when I get to thanking God and stuff, I feel guilty about it. And I don't know like what it's gonna take for me, but I just wanna be better about my consistency with God. But um honestly, like I'm not sure if I'm consistent with anything really. So I think that another part of like motivation for me going into the army is that like I'm hoping that I can really take away like these good habits and skills to apply in other places in my life, not just like career stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
I would like to be more consistent and more respectful and caring and diligent and precise and like following the rules and like just doing all of those good things really. So yeah, I would say that like part of the military thing for me is just like being excited to embody those things that make a good soldier.
Sure do I.
Sorry, I don't know if
You're
I'm
okay.
saying too much.
No, you're perfectly fine. You're perfectly
That's a lot to like
I appreciate it.
reflect back to
It's
me.
amazing. It's amazing. I'm glad that you've I'm glad you're taking the time now to think about these things. Um, because it just lets me know more about you, lets me know how I can speak to you better. Um, and then I didn't take that break in silence. I didn't take that, I didn't take that moment to be like, you know, I just wanted that to sit with you about what you said. You know what I mean? Like, let you exhale, let your thoughts come together. Um, but yeah, you did share a lot though, and I can't get into it all today. But the main thing I heard was that you're excited to go into the military. Um, well, the main things I heard, it's going nowhere, was that you do have a strong Christian faith and it supports you, and you recognize that God is real through the blessings that you have. Small things like waking up and moving, the big things like being with you through adversity. Um, and God is a strong support to you. That's amazing. I'm glad that you've grown up in the church and you've been able to be around like-minded people and share that fellowship. It's a great thing. Humans are social creatures, and being in the church and being social and being active in the church definitely provides some benefit, provides some support in terms of how we live our lives, how happy we are. So it's a great support for you if you ever feel like um that's a great support to you. And if you feel like you're being consistent with that relationship and being consistent in that aspect of your life, it's okay. You know, nothing we do in life is ever going to be just a flat, like, do it every day, have no problem doing it every day. It's perfect all the time. It's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be a roller coaster with everything. So I just, I advise, I advise that you just give yourself some credit. You know what I mean? You're going through a lot. You're doing a lot. You're doing a lot of changes. You know what I mean? You're at the age where a lot of changes are happening in life. You know what I mean? Like, we're becoming adults. And becoming an adult comes with a lot of changes in values, a lot of changes in what your interested are, what you want to do, and you've been doing well. You've been doing well. It is hard. It gets really hard sometimes, and you've been doing well. And I just think you should like pat yourself on the back sometimes and you think, man, I haven't been consistent. Man, I haven't been doing this. Man, I haven't been doing this. Because one, you mentioned that you have a support system that you can fall back on when you need a break, when you need a boost, when you need someone to like uplift you, bring you comfort, give you stability, give you um, love, prayer, and good times. You know, you have that support system, but you also have like um, you also have uh, a leg up on uh, I would say people your age. So yeah, but be wanting to be consistent does show a great drive and a great motivation to be better, which if we're gonna survive being adults, we gotta have. So it's just a lot of props to you. You're doing good. You're doing really good for who you are, for what age you are, for what situation you're in. I think you're doing a great job. Um, but you also mentioned that you would like to be consistent in other areas of your life. I was wondering if we could touch on that for a second. What did you mean by that? Or like, did you have any specific areas in mind that you're like, man, I gotta really, be on my P's and Q's about?
Um, I could say being consistent in like my work, like my gym habits, like I low keep it slacking in the gym, and like that's really important for this next chapter. And like it's only free gym for the next couple weeks, so I really gotta get in there. Um, and I would just also say maybe like consistency in like my behavior. Feel like sometimes in conflict, like I go back to doing the same things, even though I've learned my lesson already. And um, it's kind of frustrating because it's like forget or like yeah, mainly like forgetting in the heat of the moment. And I'm in addition to like I don't know, I don't want to keep letting myself down. Like I need to just be more consistent in everything that just because like I want things to get better. I have to be more consistent. I don't think that like inconsistency and like laziness will really get me anywhere, you know? And I want to like run away from it, but it almost feels inevitable. Like it might be like a generational curse or something. But I don't know. I'm just trying to like do my best to get away from it. And maybe I need to like tap into those supports because like I said, like I kind of like to think that it's like on my own and I only reach out to them when I need them and like other than that I'm not sure if I'm very accepting of like their help at other times when I think I might got it, you know? So yeah, I don't know. It feels like I have like a lot of work to do on myself, but like I just don't know how I can stay consistent with it, really. So I'm hoping that, having to wake up at 4 in the morning every day and like go through all of the things in the military will like aid in that somehow.
Is your is or let me start that question differently. First of all, being aware that there's inconsistencies or maybe shortcomings or moments that you feel like are not reflective of what you worked to change. When you feel like that, it's normal. It, it, it's it's normal to feel like because that's as we just talked about. Nothing we do in life is gonna be the same every time. Same level of energy, same quality of outcome. Um, especially with emotions. Um, the fact that we have emotions are being not only um, feelings, right? Because emotions and feelings are different things. Emotions are feelings with a physiological response. So when you feel a very intense emotion, your body responds literally unconsciously to how you're feeling, and it drives you to maybe make lapse in judgments. They can make you do things. What's the word I'm looking for? Impulsively. And they can distract you from what you are really aiming to get out of the situation or really aiming to do with what you do, what you're feeling. So um, it's definitely a normal thing that it's not like a, or like a point off your character. It doesn't make you any less of a person. It doesn't make you any less of quality of a person. You're still as amazing and as great as I think you are, and as the world sees you as you are. Your support system sees you as you are. It's just that, um, it comes with time. It comes with time and it comes with practice being able to recognize that you are beginning to feel a way and your emotions are telling you to react one way when you really want to react the other way. And we can come up with strategies and we can come up with we can decide like how you wanna how what action steps we can take to try and make that better for you. But as we end this session, I just really just want to let you know that um that nothing you're never gonna be perfect. You're never gonna be no one ever is gonna be perfect because no one can ever be Jesus. Like we said earlier, with your faith being very strong, um, no one can ever be a perfect human again. So it must feel discouraging and sometimes even it must feel discouraging and sometimes even disappointing when you're not always living up to your own expectations that you placed on yourself for what you view as the better. And uh, similar to how I said earlier with um, giving yourself grace for those inconsistencies, it's the same thing. Like, no one's ever going to be perfect. You're trying your best, and all you can do is really continue to try your best because there's more left to play. But yeah, we can definitely take action steps if that's something you'd be interested in, and understanding your emotion, understanding what you can do to get a hold of your emotions, and how to move forward from there. But only if you like to. And if it's something that you really feel like you could use a little bit more support on, or maybe a second opinion on. But yeah, you definitely need that. It looks like we're out of time, but it was great speaking with you again. Um, like I said, next time we maybe discuss the action steps, but I can remind you of it. But I think this meeting went well. There was a lot of things we talked through, especially about your support system. We identified who you believe is here to support you. We identified some things that have been stressing you out, not stressing you out. The word stress wasn't brought up, but like you've been thinking about maybe have been weighing on you. We also discussed like the difference between how you're feeling now about leaving the military, leaving your family to go to the military, how you were feeling then. Now it's less of a bad thing because it shouldn't have to be a bad thing because the whole experience is new and it was good. It was fine because you've had some adversities in the past and you know that guardianship was to have and so why make the only bad part or not good part bad, you know? So it was great talking to you. Um and yeah, um that's all I have. So, I was pushing it.